So you're a 10?
Yeah.
Okay.
Does anybody have to disagree, or why the hesitation?
I think the fact that she thinks she's a 10 would make her one. Like, she's confident and she likes the way that she is. There's nothing.
She hates her wrists.
Well,
That brings you down to a 9 at least.
like,
If it makes her a 10 just because she thinks she's a 10, then does it make me an attack helicopter because I think I'm an attack helicopter?
Oh my God.
well, I'm just saying that it doesn't really, like, people can tell her what they think she is, but if she's thinking that she's a 10, like, and she still has insecurities, people who, it depends on if you quantify 10 out of 10 as flawless. People who are really pretty can still, or really attractive, can still have flaws.
You can have flaws.
So why'd you rate yourself a 7?
Because I don't think that I'm perfect.
Okay, so then you would consider the 10 rating to be perfection.
For myself.
You don't, well, I mean, but who are you comparing your self rating to? That's not something you would come up with arbitrarily, right? You would have to basically observe the world around you, and then you would be comparing yourself to other human beings, right?
Yeah,
so
like,
if that's true, then if your self rating is a 7, then you're saying when I compare myself objectively to other women, clearly there's women who I think are much prettier than I am who I would put in that 8, 9, or 10 scale, right? Is
Yeah.
she one of them?
I think that she's beautiful.
Yeah, I know, but that's not what I asked you, though.
Are you asking me to rate my female peers?
No. I mean, but that's how you get your self rating, is because you're looking at your female peers and you're saying that some of them are prettier than you, right?
Yeah, I was thinking more like the standard, like my perceived standard of like female beauty.
Yeah, right. Your perceived standard of female beauty puts you at a 7. So would you say that the woman who puts herself at a 10 has a higher or lower standard than that? Because clearly you can compare yourself to other women so that you can come up with the standard, right?
I don't really know what you're saying. I just think the whole point is like that
I
everybody
think you know,
everybody
I think
can
you
come
do
up
know
with
what
their
I'm
own
saying.
standard.
I'm saying, how do you know if you're a 7 absent you comparing yourself to other women? You wouldn't know that, right?
Sure, like if I had never seen a woman before and you asked me to rate how beautiful I thought I
Yeah.
was, I don't know, because
Yeah, there's no way for you to compare
There's no
it to
way.
anything, so-
the whole
so
point
that's
of a
how
rating
you're-
scale is that it's supposed to be comparative. Sure.
Right, yeah, exactly. So if you're comparing yourself to the woman who considers herself a 10, right, are you saying that she's a 10 or not?
I just think that I don't see the point in questioning her rating of herself.
Yeah, I know. I'm not asking you if she should question her rating of herself. I'm saying that if you're objective, and clearly you're looking at this as an objective metric, then do you agree with that self-assessment or disagree with that self-assessment? That's what I'm asking.
I'm not really sure.
Okay.
I got a question. Do you think you'll be better looking in 10 years as compared to how you look now? So you're 21. Will you be better looking at 31 or how you look now at 21?
Yeah, at 31, I would assume I'd be better looking.
You'll be better looking.
Yeah.
Well, how can you possibly be a 10 now if you'll be better looking in 10 years?
Well, that's like Miss USA, for example. Like you asked, like I'm not comparing myself to her at all. Not saying my beauty's to that point, right?
Right.
But that's like saying, oh, she was beautiful at 21. At 31, she can't be just as beautiful. Well, she can. Or would you disagree that a model couldn't do that? I'm not comparing myself to such models.
Let me change the question. All else being equal, do you think you'll be more physically attractive in 10 years?
Yes, just because there's certain things that I do want to alter about myself that I think that would make me a little bit more attractive.
Such as?
For example, I want to be like a lot more toned. Like I want like really toned abs,
Okay.
back, all that. So I feel like that would make me more attractive. But that doesn't
Assuming
take
you
away
had
from what I deem myself as.
Assuming
right
you had that today, and then assuming you had that in 10 years, would you be more attractive today or in 10 years?
now. I would say today, just because your skin will probably deteriorate a little bit. Like your
Okay.
elasticity and all that.
Okay. So you think by virtue of you working out over the course of the next 10 years, you will be more attractive than you are now, given the fact that you currently aren't as toned as you would like currently?
Yeah, because I would also, like, after I'm done with college, I'm drinking less, smoking less. You know, your skin looks better, body looks better, you look healthier.
So you plan to stop drinking and smoking, and I don't know if there's drug use.
No drug use,
Okay.
but not necessarily stopping drinking. I just don't want to be involved with that whole, like, drinking lifestyle.
Okay. What about 20 years time?
20 years time, I'd view myself as less attractive compared to 21, but I would hope to view myself as more beautiful, though. Like, I'd find myself more beauty. Like, I'd find more beauty within myself is what I'm trying to say.
Okay. I'll actually open up to the whole panel. Do you think you'll be more physically attractive in 10 years? All else being equal, will you be more attractive in 10 years as compared to how you are now? Starting with you.
That'd be 29. Maybe, yeah.
You'll be more physically attractive in 10 years. All else being equal. So this isn't like, okay, well, not saying for you, but like, let's say a woman was obese at 19, and then she's making the comparison, well, if I'm a fitness model at 29, then yes, I would be more attractive at 29. It's assuming, you're doing sort of all the things if you possessed all the traits, so you're in reasonable physical shape, reasonable physical shape. How to, some people will argue, well, in 10 years time, I'll know how to do my makeup better. In 10 years time, I'll know how to dress better. Those sorts of things. So assuming you knew all of those things to now, or your skills in makeup or dress stayed the same.
Right.
Still 10 years later?
Yeah, I think so.
What about you? So 32 versus 22?
I think that, like, you're your hottest in your 20s. So, like, on a physical basis. So I would say physically, I would be less attractive in 10 years. But like you said, I think there's more time for you to work on yourself physically or mentally. And so in that sense, maybe like my value as a whole person would go up. But in terms of like my physical value, I think
looks.
my physical looks, maybe it would go down a little bit.
I think I'll go with like looking better in 10 years. I think there's always like room of improvement either way in how I think of myself. So maybe in 10 years I would like...
You'd look better.
Maybe look better, but just like not even care, just feel better no matter how I look. Like my mindset will change, and that probably will make me think that I look better than I do now.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be more physically attractive in 10 years, but I do think I'll be more wise, more able to take on challenges.
Not really the question, but okay.
My answer's no.
So you're currently 32.
I am.
Would you say that you're better looking now at 32 than you were at 22?
No.
So better looking at 22.
Yeah.
Okay.
answer-
You answered
should
the
I answer
question.
In 10 years, physically, you will be less attractive. And I know this because at 21, I probably would have given myself like an 8 or a 9, being like 125 pounds, all that stuff. And then now at 31 almost, definitely less attractive.
All right. So, and then at 40, I think you're
At
answering.
41, yeah, I'd probably,
Wait, are you,
like...
I think, did you say you were 30
So I'm
years old?
30, but my birthday's on Sunday. So
Oh,
I'm
you're about
almost
to turn,
30.
okay,
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
But kind of like they were saying, you have more time to gain wisdom, and I don't mean it like just like, the thing sleeping around is what people say. That's not really what it's about. It's just like getting wisdom and more time to have more experiences and be smarter. So in that way, you do add value as a woman, but looks-wise, your looks decrease with age.
Okay. What about you?
Less attractive.
All right. What about you?
I think I'll be equally attractive. I think I'm in a peak mid-20s.
Well, so you're 20. So
Yes.
are you saying you'll be more attractive at 30 than you are now at 20?
No, I think I'll be like equally
Equally?
Yeah.
Okay. What about at 40?
less attractive.
Less
for sure.
attractive. Okay. You'll be equally attractive. All right. Interesting questions. Andrew, any
Can I-
quick thoughts?
Yeah, if you don't
on that?
mind if I follow up, do you think that you'll be more or less fertile in 10 years?
She likes that one. Starting with you.
More or less?
Starting with you. Go ahead.
Uh,
It's a good question, Andrew.
is that not like
statistically, like, as you're younger, you're more,
Yeah.
right? So
They were just asking you if you think that you'll be more or less fertile in 10 years.
at 29, probably less.
Okay.
I'll be less fertile.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably less if I maybe
Okay.
take better care of myself. Who knows? Like I don't know.
Be equal.
Less.
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 Less. Less.
Now, understanding that you'll be less fertile, from an evolutionary standpoint, why do you think that it is that men are attracted to younger women, if you had to guess?
Because they're more fertile, and so it would be evolutionary advantageous for them.
Because they're more fertile, so it would be
a good framing.
evolutionarily advantageous. Would you all agree that that's true?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, if that is true, and that men are attracted to younger women because it would be evolutionarily advantageous to them because those women are more fertile, and so therefore, you could basically have more children, which is kind of the ultimate goal from an evolutionary standpoint, is to have more children. And now knowing this and knowing that your logic walked you to that, are you going to be more or less attractive in 10 years?
I think it was only one or two girls who said more. Who said
Yeah,
more
the two.
attractive in 10 years? I forgot.
There was 3.
Or 3?
I did.
It was you.
I said,
Oh, you said more attractive, more attractive,
Yeah.
more attractive.
So now knowing that, do you still think that you'll be more attractive in 10 years?
I was just meaning it from like my personal. I wasn't really thinking about it from how someone else would perceive me. So
Well, that's strange. How do you come up with your assessment of how attractive you are if it's not through the eyes of other people?
I think I was mainly saying I wasn't thinking about it through the eyes of men. I was just
so
thinking
women,
about personally.
you think about how attractive you are through the eyes of women, but why do you think that women try to make themselves look younger?
I'm sorry. I'm confused how this relates particularly. I just meant that.
Well, because again, the point is to point out what could be potentially delusion, right? So to answer your question, there are plenty of women out there who think that they're going to be much better looking in 10 years than they are in whatever their current status is. Let's say 20 is just kind of like a general run-of-the-mill age. But yet understand that their fertility is going to greatly reduce in that 10 years, and that men would be attracted from an evolutionary standpoint, which is your guys' worldview, the feminist worldview anyway. I don't understand how you reconcile that, because you're basically saying that, hey, we're going to be less fertile, therefore aren't men going to be less attracted to you? Isn't that the point?
Well, I'm 19, so I think when I look at like other women that I find really beautiful, most of them tend to be in their like mid-20s. So if I'm mid to late 20s, so if I'm thinking
Well, in
about
10
it,
years, you're 29. You're going to be
Yeah.
less fertile than you are at 20, right?
I'm 19, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So then wouldn't it stand to reason that if fertility is the thing that's being selected for, which it stands to reason it would be, that you would be less attractive to the opposite sex the more time that goes by as far as fertility, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So do you think that maybe your self-assessments, for those of you who think that you're going to be more attractive in 10 years, might be slightly delusional? Or is this perhaps the reason that women do themselves up in such a way to try to look as young as possible to attract a mate?
As I was saying, I just picked that, like, that I would be more attractive because that's what, like, when I see attractive women, that tends to be the age they are, is like 25 to like 30 is like really attractive. But that's just
Okay.
me, so that's what I meant.
All right. Okay. We're going to segue briefly, and I hope briefly, because I said that about the bear thing. We talked about it for an hour and a half. All right. So the bullet.